Hello, everybody. Welcome to Styrene Meatballs. My name's James, and we are almost ready to have our first very nice guest. I'm here with Graham, Carl, Steve, and somebody else. Steve!
Press the button.
Press the button, Steve. Push it. Well, I don't know how painful that is for the listeners, but it's certainly painful in the studio. Anyway, welcome to Styrene Meatballs this week, this fortnight, whatever it is. We have got our own very first little guest here today. But before we get that, let's see who else is in the studio. Graham, how are you doing?
Hello, I'm doing very well, thank you. Slightly deviated from the path thanks to somebody this morning, but we'll talk about that later. But yes, I'm glad to be here and very happy to be joined by you lovely, handsome people, especially our very special guest.
Mind you, the 69 does suit your forehead, so that's fine. Anyway, over to Steve. How's your digit?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you.
Okay, thank you for that.
Good chat.
And there's someone else, I think. Carl, how are you? Are you talkative?
Confused.
Very.
We've got 69 in one corner, up there in the left-hand side, and we've got a something finger in the bottom right.
Yeah, 69.
Where's 69 come from? You've lost me.
I have no idea.
Oh, honestly, the bus that I threw you under earlier. God.
I'm still none the wiser. Anyway, no, I'm doing very well. I have not been at the bench this week. Me and Lisa have been doing some bits and bobs together on the computer,
Information.
playing games and doing some stuff together. So yeah, not touched any plastic this week.
Don't need to know that stuff.
Good. Well, I'm pleased to hear that. And I'm not going to ask the obvious question about buttons. But we'll move on. Anyway, this week we have got a wonderful. What we're going to do is a slightly weird, off the wall sort of approach to this week because we've got a guest. Obviously, we're going to ask the guest some questions randomly, but we're just going to sort of keep our normal format. So our guest, I'd like to introduce, is the wonderful Scott from Junkworks. How are you, Scott?
Hi guys, I'm not too bad.
Yay! Welcome, first guest. Yay!
You'll go down in history.
not only is the first guest, we actually the first YouTube channel we talked about as well on the very first show.
I was going to say a bit like Julie Johnson in year 12, but never mind.
Back to your mic.
Oh, dude. So, right. So, what we're going to do very quickly is we're just going to run around the bench and see what everyone's been working on. We didn't prepare Scott for this at all because, we didn't. It's as simple as that. Scott, what have you got on your bench at the moment? What have you been playing with? Are you allowed to tell us?
At the moment, I have my SS Land Rover, and the other build I'm trying to get finished for going to Perth in 2 weeks' time.
Well, looking forward to meeting you again, Scott.
Yeah. So
catching up.
Hopefully, both going into the competition. So it's a bit of pressure to get them both done. And if all goes to plan, the Land Rover's going on a little side quest while I'm going down the road. So,
Interesting.
It is looking very, very handsome, mate.
Thank you. Yes, I was doing a bit of research and found out that David Stirling's monument is not far from Perth.
Oh,
so I thought I'm probably never going to get the chance to do it again. So I'm going to take the Land Rover to the monument and hopefully do like a little photo shoot at the monument with the Land Rover.
Nice.
Which I thought would be quite a.
That'd be pretty cool, actually.
Yeah.
Are you going to go for a perspective picture with that, Scott?
I'm going to try.
Nice. I like the idea of that.
Yeah, so it's,
we'll be able to see the statue that you've made in scale against the Land Rover.
yeah. Well, hopefully if I can get it all to work, and I can hopefully get the stuff down there in one piece, and yeah, I just thought it would be it's quite a cool idea.
Yeah,
And then the other one I was working on was just a small one, a Start Leopard tank.
Oh, what's up there?
As they turned me off. It's almost like a sort of Berlin Brigade type camouflage on it.
Nice.
It's just been a headache.
Yes. I don't fancy doing like a Berlin camo. No, messing my head too much.
Yeah.
I did it on the Chieftain a few years back. It was all right.
All
Just
about,
got to be methodical about it.
Well, there you go. That's why I won't be doing it. If there's anything. Oh no.
You struggle with just squares, James.
Oh, yes.
No, you can struggle with yellow squares. It's just yellow in general, really, isn't it? Really.
I just started. Well, no, I don't do general yellow. General yellow is not a very good piece.
Or correct yellow for that matter.
Yeah, was that yellow correct, by the way?
Which one?
Any of them.
Really? Yeah.
Oh no, not all of them are incorrect. Well, basically, it's down to the viewer to decide which yellow goes with which project. This is the idea. You see,
I think
creating interaction.
in a former life, I think you must have been like a wasp or something.
Yeah.
You just have some kind of thing with yellow. It's like it's your nemesis.
Well, possibly it could be.
Just
Either
send
that, or it
pictures
was.
to Dow.
Oh no, I stopped sending pictures to Dow. I'm not allowed to do that anymore. Not after the court injunction. Anyway, what have you been working on?
I think you should create a diorama with AA and British Telecom bands from the 1980s.
Do you know, that's where I thought you were going to go with it. I got to be honest. I've actually got that in my head. The BT vans. But anyway, Steve, what have you been working on? Let's move on from yellow.
I haven't been doing too much really. I'm on half term this week, so I'm having to do stuff within the house.
Oh, you've got the dreaded wife list, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
Yes.
Today I've been like doing the downstairs utility room and downstairs loo, sanding that all down, ready for paint and whatever. So yeah, and then I've got to do the front room next. No, I've got to do the hallway next, and then the front room. So yeah, it's yeah, I've been doing a little bit, doing some bits and pieces, but not much.
What do you mean you've not been to the bench? It seems like you've got a lot going on, to be honest.
Yeah,
A lot to get away from.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm not going to ask Graham because it's not very interesting, really. It's just basically a bus with 69 in the front of it. I've been working on my Liberator and the colour yellow, and it's been going all right actually. I've repainted the fuselage completely. We are back on track. So we've got a little bit of touching up to do on the Liberator this afternoon. And then she's into gloss. Nice. So there'll be decals and playing with other bits and pieces. I got her legs to play with, but they're not yellow, so I should be all right with that. So there you go. Well, that was the bench news. Oh no, sorry, go on. Graham, what have you been doing on the bench, Graham?
Well,
go on, tell us. What's the reference? There's a 69 all about. Tell us.
It's the back on track thing, which I'll pick up on in a minute, actually. But the plan changed somewhat this morning. I was building was sort of still am because not still some of it's done. The 48 scale Sea King from Airfix, and I've been on that for a few weeks now. Very slow build, but as I haven't had much time at the bench. But I noticed a couple of weeks ago that the fuselage wasn't quite lining up at the front. The roof above the cab was looked like it was bent on one side. So I managed to kind of not stick it together, but clip the rest of it together just as a dry fit and put the roof panels together using the locking pins, into the locating pins. And I thought I'll just leave it like that, and then hopefully it'll just, bring it all level by the next time. Anyway, I've come to it today, and it's still not. It's still warped to hell. And then when I looked at it from a different angle, the whole roof on the left-hand side of the fuselage is twisted and out of shape. So, I mean, it might come together in the end, but then again, it might not. And I don't really want to go ploughing through a build to find that I can't put the fuselage together at the end. So I've dropped Airfix an email and said, can you send me a new one, please? Fuselage, that is. I don't need the whole kit. And until I know that, I don't really feel comfortable carrying on. So I was chatting with Mr. Skiffins this morning, and
I'm just going to say, Graham, I mean, there is a way around the fuselage problem that I didn't tell you earlier.
No, because you're going to tell me to do a cutaway, and I'm not doing that. All right?
No, I wouldn't do that. That would be silly.
Yes, you would.
But what you could do is you could paint it yellow and call it a banana.
Yeah, but then again.
I've got just the very tool you need to
the perfect tool there.
to make the adjustments there.
That would sort it. Yeah, so we with myself and James were sort of, well, James was prodding me with various ideas and challenges, as he does.
Oh, thank you.
And I just started looking through my stash, thinking, what could I build? And everything I pulled out, I couldn't really get on with it. And then I looked up on the shelf, and I saw something that I've had for about 4 years or something, but never really got around to building, and suddenly had the urge to build it. And that is a massive Soviet rail gun tank locomotive type thing. Massive.
Yes.
Oh, railgun.
The 1/35th scale MBV2 from Hobby Boss. It's over 1/2 meter long.
Jeepers.
And it sits on some tracks. And then James had also mentioned another little challenge, which I'm not going to talk about now because I may take him up on that and have a little plan for it in the future. So yeah, I've got stuck into that. I've got a little bit built, just the first sort of set of wheels and stuff like that. But yeah, it's that hard green Hobby Boss plastic. So there's very little flash. In fact, there's no flash at all as far as I can see. A little bit of cleanup, cleans up nicely with a fairly coarse sander, and I'm sticking it together using the Lux Materials Plastic Magic, because I find on those harder, clickier plastics, I think that works better than extra thin does. There you go. That's me.
Cool. That's excellent. Okay, well, so I'm going to hand over to Cole very quickly because I've just... I'm going to hand over to Carl, and Carl's going to ask some questions.
Carl hasn't told us what he's building, and neither has Steve.
Carl, I did the
Steve
building.
did.
Steve did. He hasn't.
No, I've not done anything this week. As I said, me and Lisa have been playing some games on.
Oh, you have? Yeah,
together.
sorry. Of course you have. I forgot you and your game.
You said you didn't want to know about the buttons he's been pushing.
I didn't. No. Sorry,
No.
Carl. I forgot. Sorry.
No, we've been playing a little game called Valheim, which is like a little role-playing strategy.
Oh,
game,
no.
Survival game.
That's just not made it any better, has it?
Not for Graham, no. Graham's now caught with the image of Carl and Lisa doing role play, which anyway.
Oh, dear.
He'll grab a hold of himself in a minute, it'll be fine.
Right, and today I'm the washing machine repairman.
Well, firstly, then, Scott, I'll hand you over to Graham for the first question.
Oh, will you? Oh, God.
Breathe, Graham, breathe.
Sorry, I'll straighten myself out now. Sorry, Carl. Sorry, Lisa, because she's going to kill me when she hears that. Sorry. Anyway. So, hi, Scott. How are you?
I'm not too bad, Graham.
Well, I think we'll obviously talk about lots of other random stuff throughout the show, including this very, very special place that you live. And also a certain shop that appeared on my timeline yesterday, which I think is going to cost me an awful lot of money. Because I made the mistake showing it to my wife.
You didn't get pulled in as well, did you?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's not the same place Carl and Lisa were doing their role play stuff for.
Oh, no.
No,
right.
that's fine.
Okay.
No. So I'll talk about that.
They've got some very good leather straps.
Ooh. We are talking about very, very different shops. So let's kick off with the tried and trusted and tested even opening podcast question is, when did you start modeling? Why did you start modeling? And what do you like to model? That's 3 questions, but you can wrap them up in one. Off you trot.
I have built models for almost as long as I can remember, right from when I was just a young lad.
Wow.
It's really just something I've always done. And the sort of oldest memory I have of it, it must have been a book or a magazine or something that my dad had. And I remember seeing pictures of it and thinking, oh, I'd like to do that. And it's just something I've always done. What was the other question?
Why?
It's just, as I've gotten older, and life gets to you, and we all get anxiety and all these other problems, and it's just an escape. It's something that can absorb me and take me away from all of life's problems.
Yes.
And I mainly build 35 scale military.
Wouldn't be Israeli tanks by chance, would it?
A lot of it, yeah. I mean, well, obviously with the recent events in the world, I kind of took a step back from that. Said, some people might have be a bit sensitive to that, but yeah, that was just a subject matter that interested me because it was just different.
Mm-hmm. A lot of interesting stuff. Very popular.
Yes.
Yeah. And as well, I served in the forces, and it became quite evident I was very, very good at vehicle recognition. So there's a couple of us, we used to build the models for that as well.
Oh wow!
Okay,
so that's pretty cool.
Interesting. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
It was a bit easier to get a 35 scale Challenger tank than a real Challenger tank into a classroom.
On the desk.
Yeah. It was the first recognition lesson I went into after the other guys realised I was quite good at it. I remember Corporal Brock on one side and Corporal Peatrey on the other, and they sort of frog marched me into the classroom and sat me down in between them, and like all the slides came up on the screen, and they're like, "What's that one? What's that one? What's that one?" and filling in the test paper.
Wow!
So it was just after they realised I was so good at it. So and I later went on and qualified as an instructor in it as well. So.
So how long did you serve for, Scott?
Nearly 8 years.
8 years. Okay. And your regiment?
I was in Highlanders.
Highlanders. Nice.
That's really cool. Really cool. How much time do you get to spend at the bench? And are you like an every night man or just weekends only?
Just when I can. We'll go into it later again. But with my job, I work with small fiddly things all day, so it's not always easy to come home and work with small fiddly things at night. So it's I try to get to the bench as much as I can.
Yes, I believe you have another passion as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's got 2 wheels.
Yes, I'm quite a keen biker. Again, I've been around bikes pretty much all my life. So
I bet you got some excellent countryside for riding around in up there as well.
Yeah, there's only so many roads you can go around on an island. So, but yeah, we've got quite a big bike scene here. So it's
nice.
Just last weekend we had a big Easter egg chariot.
Saw some of the pictures.
I saw the photos. Was everybody on there from the island, or had people come over?
No, there was about 40 of us, and it was 2 of them organised it, and I think we collected about 80 Easter eggs for food bank.
Nice.
Right.
It was 2 years ago now. We had a massive charity ride for Clan, and we actually had nearly 200 bikes on the road.
Wow.
Which was quite something.
Gee whiz.
And it's actually an incredibly stressful experience riding a group of that many bikes. But yeah, it was quite something to be part of. So.
Blimey. So.
And what bike is it you got? Sorry.
Go on, sorry.
at the moment, I have an extremely grown-up, sensible BMW, which I haven't heard the end of yet. But like the bike I had previously, it was a bit of a mad machine, and I had to get something sensible before it either killed me or I was up in front of the sheriff handing my license over. So I had to get something sensible.
Yeah. That's not something I've ever. Well, I've been on a motorbike a couple of times, and no, it was too scary. Too scary.
No, I love it.
Oh, it's nothing scary about it. It's lovely. Lovely being on a bike. It's just, for me, I'm just a fair weather rider, so it's got to be just right. It can't be hot, can't be cold, can't be raining, can't be snowing. Yeah.
But you live in England.
Well, yeah, I know. That's what makes it so challenging. You know, you buy insurance for a year and you use the bike 3 times, and yeah, that's money worth every penny, isn't it? Really.
It gets the weather becomes more challenging the further up the UK you come, James. So
Yeah,
it can be extremely challenging here in the middle of winter.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to do it in the middle of winter. No, definitely not.
I used to ride a dirt bike when I was younger.
Yeah, 4 wheels for me. 4 wheels and some doors. That's what it's all about.
It's got to have doors.
yeah, something with a roof.
Yeah, roof. You know, seat belts, all those things. Airbags. Yeah, anything really. So obviously, from building for so many years, sorry, it makes you sound really old. Do you have a favourite build?
I think it was the one I did specifically for the model show here last year. I don't know if any of you saw it. It was during World War II. One of the battalions for the Gordon Highlanders was based not far from here at the Ring of Brodgar. And there's a photo of their Bren carriers coming in and out of the ditch at the Ring of Brodgar. And I thought, yeah, I'm going to try and do that, because it was a late friend from the Model Club had set us all this challenge to do something about Orkney. And I just saw that picture and I thought, yeah, I'm going to give that a go. So
Nice.
And I also remember my great uncle used to live around that area during the war. And I remember him speaking about seeing the Bren carrier, so it was kind of a bit of a tribute for him as well. So he passed away a couple of years ago.
Have we got a picture of that we can stick on the Facebook group?
Yeah, I'll send you one after the...
Cool.
Good stuff. And do you enter competitions with them or not, or you just build for yourself?
It's mainly just built for myself. So Perth this year, I'm entering the 2 models, and it's a bit daunting because it's not something I've done before. But you don't know if you don't try.
So what made you think of putting them into the competition this year then?
I just thought I'll give it a go. What have I got to lose,
It's not as if you go Perth Model Show every year either, is it?
No, well, it's
true.
A bit of a drive.
Getting anywhere from here is a bit of a challenge. So it's when I came down to Telford with Carl. I left here on the Wednesday night to meet Carl in Aberdeen, so I could get down for the weekend. So it can be a bit of a challenge getting places from here. So.
Cool. How long ago was that? That's 2018. I think it was either 18 or 19. Long time ago.
Yeah,
long time.
Then getting home was even more of a palaver. So.
Oh, is it a little bit like Wales then? You're right, leave him, but they won't let you back, or is it the other way around? Wales? I can't remember.
Yeah. It's actually funny. A lot of people they mistake an Orkney accent for a Welsh accent. So they might let me into Wales. I don't know.
As long as they don't turn you around to the border and go, no, you're going the wrong way. That's the way you go. I don't think they do that to the Welsh anymore.
Yeah, cool.
So with with this in mind, obviously you're reaching out to do competitions, which is something new. What is there? Is there like a holy grail build that you want to build that you've got in your head, but you just haven't got to yet?
One of the things when I'm at work, I have my headphones on and I'm listening to podcasts and things. So I started going on and listening to a lot of things about the Falklands conflict. So what I've got coming up, I'm going to do, obviously there's a lot of heavy armour there, but they had Scorpions and Scimitar tanks. That's a holy grail one that I'm going to move on to shortly. It's doing one of the Scorpions or Scimitars from the Falklands conflict.
Nice.
So that's kind of a grail one at the moment.
Nice. Yeah, cool. I've got a plan for a Scorpion scene as well, because my old man used to drive them. So.
Really?
Yeah.
I found a picture of the Globe in Stanley. There's like the road along there, and there's like some soldiers standing there, and I think it's a Scorpion. I just thought it'd be quite cool if I could kind of recreate that. I just thought that would be quite cool.
Yeah.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Nice idea.
So it's like an oversized Land Rover, isn't it? No. I don't know.
It's almost got a gun on the front of it.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's got a little gun on it, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a reconnaissance tank, so it's quite small.
Oh, right, okay. I'll have to have a Google.
Yeah,
I should have come on your vehicle recognition course. Shouldn't I have been useless? I was in the RAF, so I probably couldn't see it from my hotel anyway.
I'm not going to make any assertions about RAF.
I'm gonna say, in all fairness, if you show me lots of pictures of hotels, you'd be able to recognise pretty much all of them.
Yeah,
but tanks is just not very good at.
You only recognise the 5-star ones.
Yeah, true. Well, I don't know. Because he'd have to drive past some of the lesser ones, wouldn't he? So he may.
Oh, true. Yeah. Anywho, talking of Perth show, obviously that is now not this coming weekend, the weekend after. Scott is going to be there, so first and foremost, pop along, see if you can find Scott, say hello. I'll be there. I'll be there for Models for Heroes and Friends of Models for Heroes with my lovely assistant Lisa. Don't worry, we won't be role playing
or pressing buttons.
Please come along, say hello.
That's a different weekend.
Yes, that's the weekend before. So please, come along, say hello. Be nice to meet you. So,
you'll see me there. I'll have my Junkworks hoodie on with my logo and everything on it. So it actually struck me not long ago. It's going to be kind of strange going there representing Junkworks, and people now that I've kind of people know who I am and things. It'll feel quite odd.
It is quite a weird thing, isn't it? When people who you've got no idea who they are come and shake your hand. Oh, hello, mate. How are you doing? You're like,
I've just gone on to like a few live streams and popped in the chat, and I've heard people go, "Oh, that's Junkworks. Oh, he does really good work." And it's like, "Oh, okay." You don't have no idea who they are, and it's quite strange.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't quite grasp the fact that TV's not two-way. so they've seen our faces, but we don't see theirs. And it was like, I'm sorry, mate, I don't know who the hell you are.
And you may know them very well from chat. Like 649 Dave or something like that. And hi, I'm Steve. Okay.
Hi.
Hi.
It can be difficult. While you're talking about shows, as well, I won't be up at the Scottish Dance. It's something I must get up to eventually. But I'll actually be at Airfix Model World at the NEC on that weekend on the Models for Heroes table. So come over and see us, say hello, and we'll send pictures to you, to Junkworks, Scott, and from one show to another. Wishing you luck.
What date's that, Jim?
26th, 27th of April is at the NEC.
Yeah.
Okay, I did see it.
Almost killed the Scottish Nationals, that show.
Oh, right, okay.
Because the first year, the one that was on in Birmingham, Scottish Nationals, I think the attendance was down 50%.
Oh wow, really?
Wow.
Yeah.
No, that's
So
not
it's
good.
just one hole this year rather than two.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah.
Mm.
They we thought this year they'd actually change the date to the Scottish Nationals, but no, they kept it the same. So they really should change the date.
So let's see how this year goes, because at the end of the day, the one at the NEC is obviously a combined event with all sorts of types of model making. So
It's a lot of railway there, isn't there?
Yeah. So, and I think there was, I mean, I've not been to the show, so I don't know, but I think there was an awful lot of excitement about it for the first year. Whether that continues, which I hope it does, sort of, but also I hope it doesn't to a point, because I wouldn't want Scottish Nationals to suffer like that, really. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Anyhow,
On something completely different, Graham, I saw your picture. Was it a Kestrel, the one you'd edited on the phone?
Oh, no, that was a buzzard.
Buzzard, that was it.
Yeah.
Fantastic picture, by the way.
Thank you.
Mm.
Thank you. Obviously that's something I want to. Well, I have spoken to Scott about in the past, and I will definitely be. Well, put it this way: I was talking to my missus yesterday, and I mentioned that you were coming on the show today, and I was like, "Oh yeah," and then I was showing her this certain shot. Oh, in fact, bugger it. Shall we mention the shot? Because I made the mistake of showing my wife the web page for is it Orkney?
Ortac.
Ortac.
Yeah.
You did get the
and oh my God.
Yes, I've got 2 items sitting in my basket at the moment that I shall be ordering towards the end of the month.
Do you want to tell us a bit about that, Scott?
Well, yeah. Well, for a start, the name Ortac, the OR stands for Orkney. The TAC is the Scandinavian for thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Orkney thanks Scandinavia. So that's where Ortac comes from.
Lovely.
My day job, I am a jeweler silversmith. And as Carl well knows, it's a bit of a running joke with me, Carl, and Lisa about ordering from the shop.
Yeah, Lisa's had a few things from the shop.
Yeah.
She loves the stuff. So
yeah, it's a very long established Arcadian jewellery company. So yeah, and we're based just in Kirkwall, about 6 miles from where I live here. I've worked there for about 8 years now.
It's lovely. I hadn't looked at the actual website before. I'd seen your posts and stuff, and I kind of acknowledged it. But we were sat chatting yesterday, and like I said, I mentioned you, Ron, and I said, "Oh yeah, look at this." And I do like buying our last jewelry. I do, and she's not a gold person. She likes white gold and silver rather than yellow gold.
Yeah, my Lisa's the same.
So of course that was straight away, and I can't remember which ones we looked at first, but they've got really bright coloured blue stones in them, I think. And they were just like, wow. And then we started scrolling through, and then got to the thistles. And the couple of them were just sort of like in silver. And I said, you know what? They would look brilliant with a nice purple stone where that thistle is. Then flicked to the next page. Oh, just like that one. So yeah, I think my credit card will be hitting your website pretty soon.
Well, the business is appreciated. So
yeah, it's really good. We'll put a link up on the Facebook page.
Yes, we will. The link will go about everything we're talking here on the YouTube and whatnot.
Yeah, I'm sure my boss will be most appreciative. Yeah,
it's all lovely stuff. So do you specialize in any particular part of it, or do you all just do a bit?
I do mainly finishing work, so I'm like the last port of call before it goes out to a customer.
Okay.
So it's my job to put stuff together and make it look shiny and pretty and
the finisher.
Yes.
Cool. There's a little it's an old country estate near to us, and they've got like the old stable yard is now converted into like lots of these places where the little sort of niche jewelers and glass blowers and all that kind of stuff. And the jewelry shop there, one of them offers where you can pay like £100 and go and have a day, learn the basics of jewelry making. And it's something that our last sort of mentioned she'd fancy doing. And I think I quite surprised her when I said, yeah, I wouldn't mind having a go at that as well.
Yeah.
So I think there's reasons why we can't book anything at the minute, but I think later in the year we're going to try and get a day and just have a bash it, make it
it's I think you'd enjoy it. If you like doing creative things, you'd probably. I will warn you, it can be extremely tough on your hands. It can be hard going. I mean, you probably can't see it, but I've got hands like leather from working with hot stuff. And
don't you get quite a lot of comments about your fingernails as well, Scott?
Yeah, I get a free manicure from polishing all day, so I've got very shiny fingernails.
Yeah, I get that.
The internet.
Interesting to note that you're a finisher at work. Going back to the scale model making, is there a particular part of the process in which you prefer, or are you a finisher on that as well?
I think I quite enjoyed the weathering stage, and that's when it starts. The model starts to come to life, and I can see what's in my head starting to materialize in the model. If you know what I mean. That's one of the things in my job can be extremely repetitive some days, and I'll be sitting there and just suddenly an idea will pop into my head, and I'm sort of building the model in my head. It's just one of those weird dyslexic traits that we do is we can build and see things in your head and see it coming together.
I'm a little bit like that with photography, and it doesn't always work, but it's nice if you have that vision before you actually take the photograph or build the model. It's good to kind of have something to aim for at the end of it.
Yeah, it's just one of these weird dyslexic traits that we have, is we can sort of visualize in our head and build in our head before the thing.
Do you find with that trait that it fights against you as well, though, or does it?
Sometimes, yes.
Have you learned to not allow that to happen? Because I know for me, I find I'm dyslexic and I have that trait too. But the problem is I'll get to a certain point and have all that vision going on in my head, and then the next time I get to it, it's like, no, we're not doing that. We've moved on now. And I'm like, oh no, I want to do that.
Yeah, it can be a little bit like that sometimes. You'll get to a point and you think it was going to go that way, then all of a sudden you go, oh, that looks better that way, and.
Yeah, I find that a lot.
Yep, that's good. That, but you, James, you have that vision for other people as well quite often.
He does, doesn't he?
Oh no, this is how I manage my that element of my dyslexia is that I reflect it onto other people, and that way it helps because it helps inspire people to do something different. But on the other hand, it also makes people not talk to you very often. So that it works both ways.
I think our conversation this morning, I think I kind of shocked you when I came up with the idea of how I wanted to finish that rather than you.
Well, yes, Graham. There are occasions where people's vision and the way they want to finish something off does surprise me.
We normally get when we start to build a story. Well, what you could do, mate? I mean, you could do this to it, and you could do that to it. You set it here, and then today I just went, and then what I could do when I'm finished, I could do this, do that, and you went, oh, kind of disarmed.
But this is the good thing, you see. It's one of the reasons why I started doing the inspiration boxes is because the amount of people that have done that, and now when I do speak to them, which is not often, but when I do speak to them, they're like, "Oh, I've had this idea," la, la, la. And I'm like, "Oh, maybe, oh yeah, but I'm gonna do that." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, I don't need to say anything anymore because they've already gone off on a tangent."
That's right.
And there's nothing better than pushing someone under a bus in the tangent way, not physically, obviously. I want to endorse that, but it's quite funny.
Yeah. But go on, James. Go on. Sorry.
No, go on.
I was going to say, because in case anybody hasn't twigged now, Scott lives in Orkney, and I am a bird watcher and of late a bird photographer. And Orkney is a very special place for the birds, and I'm imagining from some of the photographs I've been seeing from elsewhere that you have got the little coloured beak friends there at the minute.
Yes, puffin season has started. They have been sighted on the Brockabursey, which if you look at a map of Orkney, it's a a tiny little island just off the northwest of Orkney, and that's kind of one of the main spots that's quite easy to get to see them. And the puffin season starts sort of around the start of April. They come ashore, start breeding.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen some photographs from up in Bempton Cliffs up in Yorkshire, which is where I'll end up going. I can't get there for the next couple of 3 weeks, I suppose, but I will definitely be having a day up there. But it's not quite the same because obviously it's an RSPB reserve and you're restricted to where you can go and that kind of thing, whereas a lot of other places you're a bit more... I certainly know if you go down to Skoma, you're literally, they're running around your feet. As you're walking through the pass, but trying to get a ticket to get over there is they're sold out literally within hours of going on sale.
Yeah, I mean, fortunately here you can get very, very close to them. There's another place called the Castle of Bruin on the island of Westray that it's really easy to get to them there as well.
And you don't do any photography yourself, do you? Or bird watching and such?
I dabble here and there. It's I've gotten a few interesting shots, but it's just been pure coincidence.
Right.
I'm quite fortunate we actually have just the hills just the other side of my house here, about half a mile away. We have kestrels and buzzards and all sorts of things up there. And then last winter, the winter before, I'd gotten up from this seat, turned around and looked out that window, and noticed it was either a kestrel or sparrowhawk sitting in that tree in the corner of the garden. And by the time I got my camera, it was gone. I was like, no!
When I started doing bird photography, I've been a photographer for years, been a bird watcher for years, but I never put the two together. Now, if I walk through the woods with a pair of binoculars around my neck and I see a bird, I can get those binoculars up to my eye, straight on the bird in an instant. It's not the same when you've got to get a camera with an offset viewfinder up to your eye to try and find where it is, and then secondly, getting the damn things to sit still for long enough to take a photograph. I mean, usually by the time I've put a little bit of concealer on a few spots they've got, and put a little bit of powder on to dull the reflection off their forehead, they just fly away for some reason. I don't know why. But they don't like modelling. I'm extremely fortunate to live where I do, and we get to see these things quite regularly. And we've actually had a slight increase of white-tailed eagles here as well. That was what I was just going to ask. Yeah.
I meant to send you the photo. There was a couple of weeks ago, I think it was, somebody actually managed to snap a shot of a white-tailed eagle coming down and grabbing a goose and flying off with it.
Wow.
Which we're quite happy about, because we've got one of the two invasive species we have here, and geese are one of them. They just descend on farmland and destroy it.
Yeah.
So anything that can help dispose of them,
that puts into context just how big a white-tailed eagle is, because a goose is not a light bird. No. That's a big. Even going to something small like an Egyptian goose, they're fairly small, but they're still a hefty lump of meat. So
it was just an incredibly lucky shot, and he just got the moment it picked her up and flew off. It was
wow. That's amazing. Is there a good success story, the white-tailed eagle? There's a lot more.
We've got a breeding pair over on the island of Hoy. And they've been successfully breeding for the last few years. So
that's somewhere I'd like to go as well as Hoy, because I used to do a bit of rock climbing years ago, and of course the Old Man's a very iconic lump of rock in the rock climbing world. Lots of videos been made of people climbing that. Did part of that not collapse a few years ago?
It's just because of where it is, it's constantly getting battered by the prevailing wind and the sea, so it's constantly sort of crumbling and eroding away.
Yeah, I thought I'd read or heard somewhere that a large chunk of it had gone.
But it's just the nature of where it is. It's just constantly getting battered by the weather. So
it's certainly from my point of view as a wildlife person and photographer, it's certainly somewhere that I would love to live up somewhere like that. My missus isn't so keen. She likes civilization.
The winters here can be quite rough, because storm force, gale force winds and things most of the winter, and the sun sets about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and it's middle of winter here is a bit of a challenge.
Well, it doesn't really set, does it?
You're talking like that's a bad thing.
No, I
love that.
I don't like winters.
Oh, Lord, it's my favourite time of year. I much prefer winter. It's starting to get hot in a minute, and I can't wait for winter to come back. Yeah, it's cool. So are you actually from Orkney, or did you move there?
Originally, yes.
Wow.
Born and bred.
Yeah.
Strong in the arm.
Viking DNA running through my bones.
And what's the modelling world like on the island?
It's actually we have a modelling club, and it's we have a monthly meeting, and we have a biannual show every 2 years, so it's usually fairly successful. And just recently, the toy shop in Kirkwall has actually started stocking Tamiya.
Oh,
it's been a big
nice.
boost for us as well.
Oh, that's good.
And what's even handier is I've just gotten a second job, and the guy that owns the model shop, the shop with the models, is going to be my boss for my other job.
Andy.
So,
Bonus.
yeah.
Andy. I believe me and James talked a while back about potentially coming up to the Orkney Model Show one year.
Yeah, well, the next one will be September 2026.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll be more than happy to have you.
Yeah, come up with models for heroes.
Yeah,
make a bit of a 4-day weekend or something out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Come visit the island as well. So
be a bit longer than that for me, wouldn't it? Be a bit longer than that for me, because obviously it'd be a little bit like you going down to Telford. I'll have to set up a week earlier, and it's a long old journey. But yeah, definitely really want to.
Yeah, I mean,
so
if you get the chance to come up, certainly come. And I mean, again, it's the wartime history here for you guys. It's just fantastic as well.
Yeah.
Just last year, I think it was, they opened the revamped Scotland View Museum over in Hoy.
Oh.
And it's all the design work is the same people that have done like the Imperial War Museum and things. So it's just really, really well done.
I suppose a more important question would be: do Ortac do tours?
Yes.
Because I know somebody that wants to come along and see.
just drop me off at the front door, and I'll take a run, Carl.
I'll take a purse with me.
I was going to say, Carl, the best thing to do is drop her off at the door, take a purse, and I'll take you and her purse to a distillery somewhere, and we'll wait for her until she finished her walk around.
Well, we now have 3 whiskey distilleries here.
Nice.
There's another one's just recently opened.
That's another thing Lisa loves as well, whiskey.
Yeah, so we have 2 quite famous distilleries. Actually, they pretty much look at each other. It's Highland Park and Scapa Distilleries. So if you go down to Scapa Beach, Scapa Distilleries, like at the one side, then you look up the hill and you can see Highland Park. It's just pretty much right opposite each other.
Bit like Dufftown.
Yeah.
Interesting. Oh God, a week of whiskey and bottle shows.
What whiskey model shows and jewellery?
I've got another modelling question for you.
Mm-hmm.
This is one I like to ask people: is there one modelling technique that you feel is sort of an essential part of your armoury that you would advise somebody else to try?
That's a tough one, actually.
I
mean, what I do is like, I speak to like other modelling friends and they'll say, "Oh, I can't do that," and I'm like, "How do you know if you don't try?" So if I see other modelers like like a Night Shift or Plasma or something like that, I might not replicate it, but I'll certainly give it a go. And I would have to say my biggest thing is shiny things like cars and things like that. That's not my strong suit at all. It's if you make a mistake in a tank, you can just throw some mud at it.
Yeah, I don't do shiny. That's what.
I have done shiny before. It's not my thing though.
That's maybe why I got so good at weathering, was to cover up all my mistakes.
Yeah, maybe. So, talking about night shift and people like that, is there anyone that you are a fanboy of? Someone that inspires you on the YouTube world?
It's just, again, Night Shift, Rick Lawler, all these, mainly the armor modelers. And it's, it's something for you to aspire to. If you keep, that next model's going to look a bit more like what you see them doing or something.
Yeah.
And, it's, someday I would maybe like to be at a level where people look at my work and can compare it to, these guys.
The problem with those guys is they keep getting better and better, don't they?
Yeah.
So every time you're getting anywhere close, they just move on.
Yeah, they just take it up to the next level, and you're like, okay, so I'll have to push myself to that next level.
I think you get out of it what you want to get out of it. I mean, as we've discussed prior to this, I think your YouTube channel is great, and I've watched several of your videos and learned a lot from them. Not least the ruined house build, that you did with the King Tiger. That was just beautiful. Loved it. And I'm part way through using your paint application technique on the building that I'm doing. But if you were to you like sort of build and then release your videos, sort of, you don't sort of on a weekly release schedule or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's going back to what I said earlier. It's, I work with small fiddly things all day at work, so it's not, I can't always do it when I get home.
Exactly. I think a lot of us are the same, and I think a lot of people look at somebody like Night Shift or Rick Lawler, whatever, whoever you want to talk about, really, and you think, blimey, I'd love to get to their level, but the reason that they're at that level is because they've made a decision that that's what they want to do. So they are, no matter what happens in their day life and their family, their work life, they are putting the graft in to get the weekly videos out there, which then builds them up to this certain level, and that's at that point that can go full time.
Yes. Yeah.
And then that self-propagates because it's now their full-time job. They've got the time to experiment with new techniques and try new things, and it sort of builds itself. And that's to everybody else's benefit, because now we have this massive library of guides and techniques that we've got from these guys who've literally committed their life, if you like, to just, I want to be a YouTube modeler, which you think 10 years ago, that would have just sounded bonkers. But these guys have gone on a path to do that as their full-time job, and everybody else is benefiting from it. But I think if you look at it that way and think, oh yeah, I'm benefiting from this, rather than I wish I could do that, because the only way you can do it is by doing the way that they've done
craft.
Yeah, every minute of every working. I mean, if you think about Night Shift a few years ago, when he was on this massive like weekly release schedule and that kind of thing, he was racing models out the door. And I don't know if you remember, he came onto the Plastic Posse podcast, and there was lots of comments afterwards saying he just didn't sound very happy. He didn't sound like his usual self. And I think it was about a week or maybe a month or so later, he came on his channel and said he was going to cut back on the release schedule and focus more on, more detailed builds and that kind of thing, rather than just building for the channel. And it's not done him any harm. And his more recent videos, he seems to be a much happier person because he's taken that pressure off himself to some degree.
So yeah, I mean, I tried to get weekly and fortnightly videos out, and working full time, it was near impossible.
Yeah,
and you just couldn't do it to the quality that was needed to make a really good model and a really good video for YouTube.
The last series you did just on that King Tiger, though, we've spoken about this. I like that a lot, and I like the way that you did it as a was it a 4-part series in the end? I think it was.
It's 3 or 4 parts. Yeah.
Yeah, and that the AI voice you used over the top, I think was really good. It worked really well.
Yeah, that was literally it's a voice that's in the Clipchamp software. And you can play around with like the tone and pitch of the voice, and all I did was just slow the voice down a little bit, so it's got that slightly more relaxed. It seemed to work. So
it did. It worked really, really well, I think. And I'm not usually a fan of these AI voices. And you get them on sort of TikTok and Instagram Reels and stuff. They always sound very contrived, or they all sound the same. So you just hear in the same voice in every video. But that one I thought was very different, and I think it works really, really well.
Yeah. It's kind of one of my sticking points is, as you can hear, I've got probably a slightly unique accent, and I'm always kind of conscious how it sounds. And if I started actually speaking in an Orcadian dialect and using Orcadian words, people wouldn't know what I was speaking about. So
yes, for those that are struggling, there will be subtitles added to the show,
which will be very easy to follow on the podcast. So.
Yes,
like when I'm speaking to you guys, I'm trying to purposefully change my accent in the way I speak, so I'm kind of get a gist of what I'm saying.
Have you seen the lady that does the TikTok videos from Shetland? She's got that sweet shop, Highland Larder.
She is brilliant.
And she does not try at all to quell it. She just lets it go in the broadest Shetland accent she can, and it's amazing.
The Shetland accent's quite unique.
Right. It's very unique, but it's great. And I think the more you listen to it, the more you understand the words and stuff. It's really cool. But yes, I think she's fantastic.
They think the Shetland accent and the way the Shetlanders speak is about as close to how the Vikings spoke as you can get.
Yeah.
It's like our accent here in Orkney is completely different.
It is, yeah.
We're a bit softer and a bit more sing-song in the way we speak. And I think that's maybe why people get the whole mixed up with Welsh. Sometimes I've even asked what part of Ireland I was from once. Yeah. Funny enough, I think was an Australian or a Kiwi when I was at Bisley many years ago.
You have to say County Orkney.
Yeah. But I was very tempted to ask, what part of Australia you're from or whatever, just to... Yeah, going back to the King Tiger, that was actually kind of a special build. It was my late friend Paul, who was the chairman of the model club here. Just over a year or so ago, I got a message from him saying he was giving up the hobby and he couldn't say much about it at the time. I thought, okay. And later found out that he was very, very unwell, and I went to see him, and he handed me those two kits and said, I want you to build that for your YouTube. And sadly, he passed away not long after our model show last year. So sadly, he never actually got to see it finished. Mm-hmm. So hopefully he would be happy with what I did for him. So
indeed, yes.
Proud, mate.
Yeah.
Definitely
doing proud. It's a cracking build.
Yeah, it's the last time I saw him was at the model show last year, and he was very, very unwell. And it wasn't long after that he passed away. So
yeah, you've done him proud, pal.
Mm-hmm.
You've done him proud.
Yes.
So we've been going for about an hour or so. Is there any other questions which you guys want to throw at Scott?
I guarantee something will pop in my head once we finish. Like,
Do you want to talk us through where everybody can come and find your work, Scott?
Yeah, just my YouTube page, which is just The Junk Works. I set that up. Actually, it was actually during lockdown. I started doing that for something to do. And I've just steadily grown and finally hit the 1,000 subs just at the start of this year. So
good stuff.
It's getting there, slowly growing. So.
Yeah. Good stuff. Do you have a Facebook page as well?
There is. I don't actually use it very much, but there is a Junk Works Facebook page as well.
Cool. Instagram?
Yeah, it's just the Junk Works. I don't post there very often.
Ooh, I know what I want to ask you about.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about this a couple of weeks ago. Would you still make those little armor holders?
I could probably make you one if you wanted one.
It's not. Well, I mean, I would probably use one. Yes, definitely. But I just wondered if I could give you a plug for that as well, because
yeah, I mean, the only one I only sold one, and that was to look at Black Rifle. He did a review on his channel of one. But I needed something like that, and you can buy ones, but they're quite expensive. So, in my typical island attitude, I'll just make one. That's what we're
You've got a video with showing it off though, don't you? Like a little
yes, there is a video on my channel.
then we'll post a link in the description of this video for that as well, so you can go watch this little builder, because it is a very, very clever little thing.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and again, that was my dyslexic brain sitting there at work one day going, right, how can I do this? And it's sort of built in my head.
No, it's a cool little thing. Yeah, we'll stick a link to that vid in the in the socials and stuff. But other than that, I think I've covered everything. Have you?
Yeah, I think we did. Steve, have you got anything you want to?
No, I think you guys covered it all really.
stop building such good models.
Yeah.
Making us look bad.
You were saying about night shift and that. Every time you try and get to somewhere and they move on, you're the same, Scott. You're not helping us really, but we love watching you.
Yeah,
anyway,
I mean, again, it's when I hear other people saying things like that, because I always have this assumption that everybody else is building is something better than I'm doing. So when that feedback comes, you're like, okay. Again, it feels quite strange.
Yeah, we're not building better things. We're too busy watching your channel and what you're building. So I got a last question for you. We sort of touched on it earlier when you were talking about a Berlin camo. So is there a likelihood that you are going to take on a build where it means you're going to do yellow squares all over anything? Or am I asking too much?
Well,
make sure it's the right yellow.
Well, given how much of a nightmare yellow can be, probably not in the near future.
James has got a big corner in the market of yellow paint.
Yeah, James is getting really good at yellow paint.
Well, no, that's not necessarily true. I just got a big corner full of yellow paint. That's why I never know which one I'm using, because they're all the same. They're all yellow. Anyway,
like when Del Boy painted that kitchen.
Yeah. Oh dear. Well, anyway, there you go. So, I suppose it's only fair, really, Scott, that we ask you. Have you got any questions for any of these reprobates?
No, I don't think so. Other than when you come to visit my homeland.
Looks like we're going to be getting a bus tour very soon. With Graham and his camera.
Hopefully.
Cole is role playing, and me just to drink whiskey. So cool. Okay. Well, look, I think we're going to wrap it up now. Thank you, Scott, for being with us. Our first guest.
Thank you, Scott. Appreciate it. And looking forward to meeting you and seeing you again at Perth.
Yep,
it's been very interesting watching Graham swooning in the corner there over you, because he's a big fan. He does that quite a bit. But anyway, so thanks for everybody for listening and tuning in. We will be back in the next time, basically.
Yeah, whenever it may be.
Yeah, we don't have a schedule as such, but thanks for tuning in. One thing I need to shout out to everybody is just to remind you, it will be in the description and all that sort of stuff. Give us some feedback. You've got the ability to do a voicemail feedback as well through a speech pipe. Please make sure you use that. We'll look at all the comments from our hundreds of viewers and listeners next time. But
and if you do even if you don't want to leave a comment or something, or an improvement, just leave us a message. Say hi.
Yep.
And we'll play them on the show.
If we've got an Instagram page, haven't we?
We do, yes.
We have.
Yeah. If you go to Instagram, you can actually leave a voice note on Instagram, just as a direct message. You can just go on Instagram and leave a message there.
Yeah, pop on and say hi, please.
Just one thing, James, before we disappear. We need some final wrap up of the little thing that we did at the beginning of the month or the end of last month.
Yes, because we final figures for everyone. Told
everybody how much we had on this show.
Oh, for the 48 and 48, you mean? Okay, yes. Yes, good point, actually. I'd forgotten that. It seems so long ago now. It's nearly a month ago. 11 months to go to the next one. It's a bit like Christmas, but a lot more pleasurable. Anyway, yes, funny enough, actually, this weekend is the weekend in which the final parcel left here. and the final monies were all transferred into the Just Giving page. So we managed to raise a mere £16,350. So congratulations to everybody that got involved. It's a phenomenal total.
Did you take the money from Redbubble?
No. So that figure will change. There is, as it happens, that was going to be something in which I was going to mention. So, there are still a few bits and pieces incoming that I've not told Malcolm about. So Redbubble would be one of them. So the final bits and pieces from the merch, which you'll be glad to know we sold merch on Friday still.
Excellent.
So that's phenomenal. Thank you very much for that. However, those in listener land, you need to keep an eye on the 48-48.org website, because there will be some interesting things happening over the next few months, which I'm not going to reveal right now, mainly because I haven't told the committee that's what we're doing.
That sounds about right.
Stay tuned. The idea of the merch being sold after the event and before the event will blossom, I think, will be all I can ascertain to. And I'm aware that there is a potentially another donor coming in with an amount of money for something or other. But whether that comes through Just Give In or they go direct, I don't know. But thank you. A big thank you to everybody that got involved. Next year is already looking incredibly stupid, with some crazy ideas being thrown around. Some big names, I think, would be not too much to give away, potentially being involved. They're just, I could sit here and tell you more, but I'm not going to. So on that note, thank you for reminding me, Carl and Graham. And obviously it's a goodbye from me and a goodbye from them.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye. See you later, guys.
Press the button, Steve.
I'm just marveling at the professionalism of the introduction.
Even Scott was dancing.
Not yet, Steve. Steve, not yet. Oh, for f***'s sake.
Who started the music?
Steve, stop playing with back.
He likes it that much.
Because at this point, he knew.
I heard he's got it as his ringtone.
I got to be honest with you, it's the only button he can find without a problem, I'm told.